I don't know if you know this about Father Dindo, but I love to cook. Any cooks in the house here? Anyone love to cook? During the pandemic, when all of the restaurants were closed, Portillo was closed, all the fast food was closed, Father Dindo was forced to learn how to cook for himself. And it was a good thing because I think I lost about 40 to 50 pounds back in those days. Gained a little bit back, but that's okay. Anyway, my go-to dish is my Italian meat sauce. Anyone do that? Or as Father Sam calls it, gravy. It has to be called gravy in our house. Because he told me that when you make gravy is because you use the neck bones to make the sauce. So just like you're making a sauce with the turkey gravy, you're making sauce with the red gravy. You're making gravy with the red gravy, right? So I got that. I finally got that. And the key ingredient to my gravy is my favorite summer herb, basil. Who likes basil? Italian basil. That's amazing. So I have a very good friend here at St. Mary who I call my garden angel. She always takes from her garden these basil plants, puts them in a container, a pot, and she gives me 2 of them so that I can have those in my patio whenever I make any of these sauces. So I love making pesto and all these garnishes, the tomato mozzarella salad, all those good things. Okay, so this is not the Father Dindo cooking show right now on the Food Network. It's Holy Mass, and this is my homily. So this is my point. The basil reminds me of our gospel today, okay? With basil, the plants grow sort of out of the main vine at the bottom, and then they have lots and lots of branches with these beautiful leaves. And my friend is constantly after me to prune, or harvest those basil leaves so I can make the pesto, right? And then more shoots and branches will come out, and it'll be fuller and fuller, and we'll be able to harvest a ton of basil over the 3 months of the summer. And I just love that, using my own plants and vegetables for the food that I cook. And I see this amazing harvest, and it makes me so happy. Jesus, he uses this analogy exactly for being the vine. He is the vine, and we are all of branches. And we need to know that we need to be attached. We need to be stuck on to that main vine, to rely on that main vine for our nutrients, that we could have life in the fullest, okay? That's what the Lord is reminding us, to live life in the fullest. And that sometimes means that we're going to have peaks and valleys, highs and lows, okay? All of us experience that in life. Sometimes everything is going so well, everything is going so perfect. We are at the peak of our life and everything is working out. Those times we should be thanking our Lord God in thanksgiving. Like when I thank God for all the beauty we have in the church, especially St. Mary, I realize all the miracles that God has done in my life, and I'm so grateful for all of these peaks. But sometimes also we face those valleys, don't we? Those challenges, those crosses in our life. That is what I envision God doing, pruning us, pruning those branches so that they can bear more fruit. Pruning is necessary so we don't become lazy. Like when those branches don't produce fruit, they need to be pruned. We need to realize the need, absolute need for Jesus in our life, who is the source of life and the life he gives us. Now, I want to share a story, a very personal story of a very close family friend who is very successful. He works at the Board of Trade. He's a stockbroker, has a beautiful family. They're all lifelong Catholics. They're very well-to-do and very financially blessed. And outwardly, when you look at this family, they look perfect. They look like they could be on a magazine cover, okay, as a family. But we all know that not everything, you can't judge a book by its cover, right? Sadly, they have fallen away from the faith. They no longer go to church. They have stopped praying in their life. They have been totally engrossed in the woke, secular culture that we live in. On Sundays, they tell me that they're occupied with their children's sports and all their activities and all their hobbies. They're too busy to go to Mass. And you know what else has happened in their life at the same time? They've had problems, especially with the children. They no longer choose to be confirmed. They've been baptized, they've received First Holy Communion, and they don't want confirmation. And that one of the children is considering being transgendered, and that is tearing their whole family apart. The whole family is suffering now in crisis because of this particular issue. They have become totally godless. And just the other day, I also heard the wife of my friend was diagnosed with serious melanoma, very bad. And she does not know what to do. And what it has done, all of these things compounded, this cross or this valley that they're facing in their family, it has stressed them out to the max. It's pushed them to their knees. The family is very scared. Their world is rocked. And as their good friend, as their priest friend, they came to me for help. And what I did was I told them the gospel that we hear today. To remain in Jesus as Jesus remains in us. That pruning is essential in all of our lives to bring us closer and closer to our Lord God. All suffering should not be in vain. It should draw us closer to the cross, closer to our Lord Jesus. That is what our Lord Jesus is waiting for. He's waiting for this opportunity to come into our lives because he knows we need him desperately, but he doesn't just come, on his own. He wants us to realize that we need him and to have faith in him. Because we all know that with Jesus, miracles happen every day. And when you believe and trust in Jesus, all things are possible. All miracles are possible. I'm telling you, my friends, the story is not over. I'm encouraging them to have faith. And you know what? The good thing is, because they are baptized Christians, they know that God does exist, and they know what they're doing wrong, and they do believe, and they do have hope. As Christians, we are people of hope. And I know that they are now going back to Mass, and they are even going to adoration. I suggested they have prayer in front of the Blessed Sacrament. And they are praying, and praying like crazy, And I asked them also to remember the last part. Everyone to remember the last part of our gospel today. What does Jesus say? If you remain in me, and my words remain in you, ask for whatever you want, and it will be done for you. This is my Father. By this my Father is glorified, that you bear much fruit and become my disciples. St. Mary, we're all called by Jesus to be his disciples, to be his true believers, to believe in his word, to follow him, to be a faithful branch on his vine. The question is, are we only doing the cafeteria Catholic thing? Are we believing in what we want and what we don't want to do, we throw away? If we don't like something of Jesus' teaching and commandments, we don't follow that part? Are we trusting in our Lord Jesus when times are bad and when we are challenged? Or do we believe that every cross, every challenge, every cancer in our lives is an opportunity to show our God our absolute faith in him? Because that is it. Our faith in God is shown to him every time we rise with him through every challenge, clutching him into our, having him clutch us in his palm of his hand. That's very important. Remember, the grace that the Lord gives us is always enough for us. He always says to us, my grace is enough for you. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first